4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is recording.
Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Please stand by.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. Your English will improve today. My name is Carolyn. Do you need to drive to work or school? Maybe you ride the bus or walk to get where you need to go. Regardless of which type of transportation you use, we can all use a little common courtesy. And that is in the title of our lesson today, Common Courtesy While Driving. But what does common courtesy look like during the morning commute? And what does the word commute mean? Well, we're going to look at that and more in our lesson today.
Common courtesy while driving.
Showing respect for other drivers doesn't take much effort. For example, allowing someone to merge in front of you can make a big difference during the morning commute.
Allowing other cars to cut in front of you slows you down.
Not really. Everyone is sharing the same road, so we need to be mindful of other vehicles.
You're one to talk. You ride a scooter. Scooters are always zooming past me and squeezing in between larger vehicles to pass them.
Hi, welcome to Language Lab. 首先我们看的是 You're one to talk 这个成语。You're one to talk 是一个用来批评别人的用语，意思是你还有脸说别人，或者是你还敢说。例如 You're one to talk, you always come to the office late. 你还有脸说别人，你上班总是迟到。或者是 I didn't take out the trash yesterday. You're one to talk. I've never seen you do any chores. 我昨天晚上没有倒垃圾，你还敢说？我从来没有看你做过任何家事。类似的成语还有 Look who's talking. 例如 Steve never pays attention in class. Steve 上课都不专心诶。Look who's talking. 你还真的说得出口。接下来我们看的是 zoom 这个动词。Zoom 是指快速移动或者是即时。例如 Leo zoomed straight to the basketball court after school. Leo 一下课就直接冲到篮球场。注意 zoom 是一个不及物动词，所以后面要加上介系词才能够加受词。例如 A motorcycle zoomed past us and almost hit one of our friends. 一台机车从我们旁边疾驶而过，差点撞到我的朋友。Zoom 也可以指暴增或飙升，例如 Our sales zoomed upward in the last quarter due to our new commercial. 由于有了新的广告，上一季我们的销售业绩飙升。
Thank you so much, Michelle. Now, in our lesson today, we are continuing a conversation between Peter and John. This conversation started yesterday, and they've been discussing common courtesy while driving. They don't seem to agree on whether or not it's a big deal. So let's look at our first line in the lesson today, which is said by Peter, and he says, showing respect for other drivers doesn't take much effort. And this is a great phrase to know. If something takes effort, that means that it's difficult. You really have to try to do it.
That's right, and I think most people understand what it means when something takes effort. What I mean by that is everybody faces challenges in life, things that are difficult to do, and it takes effort to do it. If you're a student, you know this. It takes effort to get good grades, for example. I'm a new parent. It definitely takes effort to raise a child. Now, you could maybe switch the words around in a different order in a sentence. So here's an example. How much effort does it take to say thank you? Of course, if someone does something nice for you, you should say thank you. Well, how much effort does it take? Not much effort at all. Just say thank you.
I think that's a great point, Gabe, and I think Peter would agree with you that, being polite and courteous to others doesn't take much effort at all. And we read right here, for example, allowing someone to merge in front of you can make a big difference during the morning commute. So he's saying it doesn't take much effort to be polite while you're driving on the road, and I like the word used here, morning commute. The commute is a trip that is made regularly as you drive or walk somewhere and you go back and forth between this place on a daily basis or regularly, as if you were going to work or to school.
That's right. So our lesson is talking about the morning commute. That is your way to work in the morning, most likely. However, you could also talk about the afternoon commute. That's in the afternoon after work and going home. Now, this word could also be a verb, okay? So you can commute from one place to another. And sometimes we talk about something being a long commute or a short commute. When my wife lived in Danshui before, it was a long commute from Danshui to Nehu to get to work.
That is a bit of a long commute, and many people do have long commutes, whether they're going to school or to work or somewhere else. It can be a long commute. So it's nice if people are courteous on the road and just show a little bit of respect.
Now Carolyn, I have to say I have mixed feelings about this because I drive a car as well sometimes, and I don't like it when people merge in front of me. But at the same time, sometimes I do it to other people. And so I feel like, okay, well, maybe I should be polite and let others merge in front of me sometimes. I know for some people, maybe they would consider it cutting you off, but I guess it just depends on how you look at it.
I think it does too, and that brings us to John's next line here. Allowing other cars to cut in front of you slows you down. And that shows that he has a very different idea between merging and cutting in. So let's look at that phrase, to cut in. It's a very negative sounding phrase, and it means to move in line ahead of those who were already in the line. And it's usually because it's not your turn, you're cutting, whereas someone could allow you to merge into the line.
Exactly. So Carolyn, that was a very good point. Friends, you can express things in two different ways or multiple ways, right? And sometimes the words you use will indicate to others if you think it's a positive thing or a negative thing. So Peter thinks it's positive to allow someone to merge in front of him. John thinks it's negative. That's why he uses the word cut. To cut in, right? You remember in elementary school, sometimes kids would cut in line, right? If you had to line up for something, and the teacher would always say, no cutting. That means no cutting in line. So there's different ways to use that word cut.
That's right. So John thinks that you should be able to drive, not let other people cut in and slow you down. But Peter doesn't think it's a problem. He says, not really. Everyone is sharing the same road, so we need to be mindful of other vehicles.
Okay, so John says, you're one to talk. You ride a scooter. Scooters are always zooming past me and squeezing in between larger vehicles to pass them. So it seems like both John and Peter agree that it's good to have common courtesy, but maybe they disagree on what that common courtesy looks like.
That is what it seems. And John uses a great word here, the word squeeze. If you squeeze something, then you're holding it very tightly. But if you squeeze between something, then you're forcing your way through a tight space or an area that is crowded.
That's right. Maybe you're not changing the shape of your body, like squeezing it. It just means you're getting into that crowded space, right? Like, for example, I know that doesn't seem like there's much room, but let's try to squeeze into the elevator. All right, well, speaking of squeezing in between larger vehicles to pass them, we have something to learn about this idea in the Info Cloud.
Hello everyone, welcome to Info Cloud. Today, we're going to look at an interesting traffic-related term, lane splitting.
If you live in an area where many people ride scooters, motorcycles, or bicycles, you have probably seen lane splitting.
Lane splitting, or lane sharing, occurs when the rider of a two-wheeled vehicle drives between cars that are traveling in the same direction as them. They split the lane by riding on the line that separates one traffic lane from another.
There are mixed opinions on whether lane splitting is safe, so it is legal in some places and illegal in other places.
That's a great point. And talking about lane splitting has reminded me of another term, filtering.
This is another technique riders of two-wheeled vehicles use to navigate through traffic. If lanes of vehicles are stopped on the road, sometimes two-wheeled vehicles will filter between the cars in order to get to the front of the intersection.
Like lane splitting, filtering is a common practice in many places around the world, but it is illegal in much of the United States. So always be sure to check local traffic laws if you are driving outside of your home area.
今天分享的两个用语跟骑机车的人很有关系，那就是 lane splitting 还有 filtering。这是什么意思呢？这两个用语都是指在两个车道中间有机车骑士在钻空隙，一路钻到最前面。不同的是 lane splitting 是指车道上有车子正在行进中，机车骑士骑在两个车道中间的状况，字面上是道路分割，而 filtering 代表车道上的车子都已经停下来，或者是行进的非常的缓慢，几乎是停下来的状况，机车开始钻缝隙。Lane splitting 或 filtering 的安全性引起了广泛的讨论。有些地区并没有明文规定可不可以这样做，不过在美国大部分的地区，机车在两个车道中间钻空隙是被禁止的。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome back, friends. Our lesson today is common courtesy while driving. We have been listening to a conversation between John and Peter, and they don't seem very happy with each other right now. John likes to drive his car while Peter drives a scooter, and John is not happy that scooter drivers squeeze between other vehicles on the road. Let's find out how their conversation ends.
Common courtesy while driving.
That can be dangerous. But it can also be dangerous for scooters to be stuck on the road between cars or buses. Tailgating is a serious problem.
Tailgating is only an issue if people are not paying attention while driving or have bad brakes.
I don't know about that. I feel nervous when a car is really close behind me. The driver could easily put some space between our vehicles.
If you're that worried about driving etiquette, maybe you should just take bus more often.
Or maybe I should get a new job as a traffic officer.
OK， 继续我们看 tailgate 这个动词 ，tailgate 是指紧跟着前车行驶或者是追尾行驶。例如 ，A truck kept tailgating my car on the freeway, which made me really mad。有部卡车在高速公路上一直紧逼着我的车子后方行驶，让我很火大。或者是 The taxi driver tailgated the bus for a long time and finally hit it by accident。这部计程车的司机紧跟着前面的巴士行驶很久，结果不小心撞上巴士。 Tailgate 也可以当名词，意思是指卡车的后挡板。例如 ，The truck driver opened the tailgate to unload the boxes。卡车司机打开后挡板，好卸下这些箱子。最后我们看 etiquette 这个名词 ，etiquette 是指礼节、礼仪、行为规范或者是规矩，它是一个不可数名词。例如 ，social etiquette dictates that younger people should refer to older people by titles, not with their names。社交礼仪要求年轻人要使用称谓来称呼年长者，而不是直呼其名。Etiquette 和 courtesy 的不同之处是 ，etiquette 是因为社会规范要求所要执行的行为，而 courtesy 是出于对别人善意与尊重该有的回应。例如 ，You should have the common courtesy to thank someone who has helped you。当有人帮你，你至少要谢谢人家。And now let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you, Michelle. Let's continue our conversation between Peter and John. So Peter says that can be dangerous, and he's referring to scooters squeezing between larger vehicles on the road. But he says, but it can also be dangerous for scooters to be stuck on the road between cars or buses. Tailgating is a serious problem. And I really like this word, tailgating. It has several different meanings, and here it's talking about cars that are too close together. They are tail to nose. Tailgating means that they're very close, the bumpers, and you can see in this picture that the bumpers of these cars are quite close together. That would be considered tailgating if they're driving on the road. But we can use this word in another way. A tailgate, as a noun, is just the back of a truck, and it's that gate on the back that folds down.
So that's a tailgate. Now, isn't there another usage for this word? Have you ever heard of a tailgate party, Carolyn?
I have. This is something that we see at football games in the United States, and it's kind of like having a barbecue with your car there, and people sit on the tailgate of the truck or sit on the back of the vehicle, and people will barbecue and share food with people outside.
And it's pretty common to see this at a Super Bowl game, right? So for example, a lot of people will go to the football game inside the stadium, but not everybody. Some people prefer to stay outside. Maybe they can watch the game somehow outdoors, as well as have a party with their trucks. People can sit on the tailgates while they have a barbecue outside of the Super Bowl stadium. Okay, so friends, yes, there are different meanings for that word, tailgate. But back to the meaning in our lesson, Carolyn just talked about it. It's when cars drive so closely to each other that if the car in front were to brake suddenly, it would definitely cause an accident.
And that can be very dangerous. But John says that tailgating is only an issue if people are not paying attention while driving or have bad brakes. And he uses a phrase here, something is only an issue if. And he's talking about, well, it's really only a problem if something happens.
That's right. Well, another way to use that word, if something is an issue or something is a problem, the principal of a school might say, smoking is a big problem at this school. That means a lot of kids like to smoke at the school, even though they shouldn't, right? You could also use the word issue like this. If you have a problem with something, you could say, I have an issue with that. I have an issue with tailgating. Or if you don't think it's a problem, I don't really have an issue with that.
Those are some good examples for that word issue. Now, Peter says that he doesn't know about that. He doesn't really agree with what John is saying about tailgating, and this is a great phrase to use. I don't know about that. It shows that you don't really agree with what the person has just said.
I don't know about that, Carolyn. This phrase isn't that useful, is it?
Well, you just used it, Gabe, so I think it's pretty useful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah, it is useful. I don't know about that, friends. Think of a situation where you could use that phrase. Well, Peter says, I feel nervous when a car is really close behind me. The driver could easily put some space between our vehicles. I agree, and I think that we should talk about that phrase, to put some space between something.
That's a great phrase, and it just means that you want some distance between two different things. For example, if the chairs are too close together and you have trouble eating your food on the table because everyone's too close, put some space between the chairs so that you can sit more comfortably.
So you could use this phrase to talk about physical things like cars on the road or chairs in a room. Some people also use the phrase when talking about a relationship. Maybe they broke up with somebody. They don't really want to be connected with that person, at least right away. And so they put some space between themselves and that person, at least for a while. Well, friends, you've done a great job today. You've learned a lot. And right now it's time for us to continue with the SC Challenge.
We have a great pair of gentlemen joining us for the SC Challenge today. Let us meet who is playing.
Yes, hello, my name is Dave. I'm happy to be here today.
I'm also Dave. I'm David. I'm going to beat you.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
That's right.
Oh, well,
we'll
that
see.
sounds like a challenge here on the SC Challenge. And our lesson today is common courtesy while driving. So let's look at our first question. Here it is. What is one way people can be mindful of other drivers? A, by letting them merge. B, by cutting them off. C, by driving slowly. Or D, by driving quickly.
Ha.
Yes, Dave.
I'm going to say people can be courteous by letting others merge.
That is correct. A is the correct answer. Letting others merge is one way we can be mindful. All right, our second question. What can be dangerous for scooter drivers? A, squeezing between vehicles. B, driving quickly. C, being stuck between cars. Or D, all of the above. Yes.
They're all correct. So it's D, all of the above.
Yes, all of those things can be dangerous. You are correct. The answer is all of the above. Very good. Our final question for today, based on the lesson, what can people do if they don't like the way other people drive? A, drive faster. B, drive a police car. C, take the bus. Or D, ride a bike. Yes, Dave.
I'm going to say if they don't like the way other people drive, well, maybe they can take a bus.
Take the bus? See, that is the correct answer. If they are worried about driving etiquette, they can take the bus. And that makes you the winner of today's show. I'm sorry, David. You gave it a good
That's
shot.
all right. You
And,
Sure did.
and that is all we have for the SC Challenge today. We'll see you next time. Well, it looks like Peter and John simply don't agree on what common courtesy is when they are driving. Well, friends, what do you consider to be common courtesy while driving? Do you think that etiquette while you are driving is important? Do you want to be mindful of others during your morning commute? Think about that. Talk about it with your friends and other people that you know. And we'll see you next time right here on Studio Classroom.
A friend cares at all times. A friend endures at all times. A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.